Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful Belmont Park. Mostly sunny skies on this Friday, the temperature in the 80s. The main track is fast, turf course is firm, and we're using all of the widener and the inner as there are no portable rails in use today. We do have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $21,055. Here now today's changes. In the first race, scratch number 4, Star of the West. Scratch number 4. And note that number 1, Big Boy Mo, is a Ridgeling. Second race, overweights. Numbers 1, 2, and 6 are 2 pounds over. And number 7, Tapazzo, will be 4 pounds over. In the third race, couple of scratches. Scratch 1A, High Amplitude, and scratch the 4, Family Biz. Scratch 1A and 4 out of the third. Race 4 kicks off the Empire 6. We have the scratches. Scratch 1, Radiant Rhythm. 6, Miss Jack. 9, Keep Your Distance. Scratch the 10, Overtime Olivia, and the 12, Mo Flash. Scratch 1, 6, 9, 10, and 12. In race 5, scratch the 3, Blinded Vision. Scratch number 3, Blinded Vision. And note that number 6, Too Hot to Even Speak, will run with 2 bar shoes. 2 bar shoes on. Number 6, Too Hot to Even Speak. In the sixth race, scratch the 2, Stash My Money, and the 3, Royal Suspect. Scratch numbers 2 and 3. And note that all horses will carry 2 pounds over, with the exception of number 8. In the seventh race, scratch 2, Forever Wicked, and the 7, Twisted Tom. Scratch 2 and scratch 7 out of the 7th. Today's eighth race is the Hessenite Stakes. Scratch number 2, Sadie Lady. Scratch the 2. And numbers 1, 3, 5, and 6 will be 2 pounds over. In today's ninth race, we have a jockey change on number 6, Lovely Escort, to Talbert Howell. Talbert Howell rides the 6. And the following horses will be 2 pounds over. Numbers 1, 3, 5, 8, we'll do that again. The 2 pounds over are for numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And scratch the 15, Venita. Scratch number 15, Venita. Main track fast, turf courses firm. Jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $21,000. We'll be back at 12:45 to reprise the changes. First race post is at 1:15. Up next, it's the Friday free-for-all. Talking horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. He's the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Serling. You ready to talk horses, Anthony?
Beautiful day, huh?
It is. Nice breeze up here.
Keep the fast and firm theme going for the meet.
Yeah.
This has been very nice.
It has.
Big day tomorrow.
Probably
both
use a
here
little
at
rain,
Churchill.
frankly.
Yeah, and we might get it tomorrow. We'll make it a little some thunderstorms tomorrow. I was watching the
Nothing
weather
of
last
any
night.
major,
Nothing of any
consequence,
import. Yeah. So yeah, fun weekend of racing coming up. Ready to? We have another trivia question from our very own Ryan Martin today. If anybody out there wants to tweet us up, a male Grade 1 winner, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We know that Beholder and Lady Eli.
Yeah.
Lady Eli did it at 2, 3, 4, and 5 as females. We're looking for the male.
They didn't do it as males.
I swung at Best Pal, but it looks like I got DQ'd on the Delmar Futurity being a Grade 2 as a 2-year-old.
I'm going to let Anthony handle it today. Yeah, I thought you were right about Best Pal.
I thought I was right,
What do
too.
I have to tell him about? Oh, Naira Betts.
Naira Betts.
Head over to Naira Betts.
You have your job, I have mine.
This is all I have, so I'm going to go after this. We'll match up to 100% deposit bonus. Use the promo code MATCH200. If you're not a member of Naira Betts, head on over to nairabets.com and sign up. And do it now.
Looking forward to the cross country tomorrow.
Yeah, the cross-country sequence is good.
That's a nice sequence
Ohio
tomorrow.
Derby.
If that Ohio Derby morning line holds up, this could be a very nice cross-country pick 5 sequence.
I wouldn't want to make a morning line. They're very hard to make, and that is a tricky run to make, but this is a funny line. The Ohio Derby, the True North, then the
Ohio Derby, True North.
The Stephen Foster, then the Just a Game, and then the last one, the Regret, right?
Yeah.
I like the Regret. Fun
too.
race. Looks like a fun race. Looks like a fun card. Churchill Downs here as well, showing all those races. All those, including the Ohio Derby, will be on America's Day at the Races tomorrow.
Check the Naira.com, though. Just go to television on Naira.com. They have the
We're on from 1 to 7.
Broadcast information. It's always on MSG Plus, and then it bounces Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2. You can check it all out at Naira.com and go to the television schedule.
1 to 7 with us running an 11 race card tomorrow, including those 4 stakes.
We'll have them all, by the way, on the weekend stakes preview tonight, presented by Naira Betts on the Horse Racing Radio Network from 6 to 7. Bobby Newman and I have 11 stakes. We'll sneak in the Bowery here Sunday for the New York bred fillies, and have a race up at Woodbine. The Nassau, I believe, is tomorrow.
Oh, the Nassau.
The 4 from Churchill.
Usually a decent race.
Yeah, 4 from Churchill.
Is Starship Jubilee in it?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't remember seeing her.
Wouldn't she have rated to have been in there?
It's only 7/8.
Oh, I thought the Nassau was a mile and 1/8.
No.
Wasn't it a mile and 1/8 in the past?
I don't know. But yeah, 4 Churchill, 4 here. Bowery on Sunday. Okay. Thistledown.
So, funny card today because
some
it looks like a lot of scratches, but there actually aren't. There's an MTO and a 15-horse field, an AE and a 15-horse field in the last race. The rest are all MTOs, and there's 2 actual scratches from the body of the race, and both of them were key horses, and both horses that Anthony picked on top, both horses that were going to lose. So, Anthony, actually, you're already way up. You're like a winner, and the day hasn't even started yet, Anthony. How do you feel?
I feel like your lunacy after the lockdown has.
By the way,
it's escalated.
You've cut it down 43. You won 2.5 lunches yesterday. See, I knew that would make him happy.
Plan is to get it down to 3 dozen by Saratoga.
The lockdown is what? I disagree. I don't.
There were 2 Rudy horses.
Yes, 2 horses I did not like. I didn't like Star of the West in the first race. I thought he was really kind of phonied up. The horse that you and I both have second is Big Boy Mo. We'll take a look at his start and then his win. And that is an effort, and you'll see he's the number 9 horse. They come out at the start, and he will get completely steadied out at this point and taken back to last. And usually this is not a good thing to have happen. In fact, it's never a good thing to have happen.
Never.
I will say that Ray Lou gave this horse an absolutely sensational ride. He didn't panic. He got and saved ground. He weaved through traffic. And Big Boy Mo might be my last winner. Managed to get the job done.
It hasn't been that bad.
It hasn't been bad at all, actually. It's been fine. Got it done. So even though it's a 59 buyer, I don't think it's unfair to suggest that it's much higher. And I think he's a logical player, though I preferred somebody else. I think a big question about this race is pace. With Star of the West out, Caden's Courage is loose here. can cadence currents wire the field? And also, we do need to talk about yesterday's track.
We do.
Yesterday, to me, was the first day that we've had any kind of biases, at least in my opinion. Other people see things differently, which is fine. That's the way the game works. I think we've dealt with a universally fair racetrack on all surfaces pretty much throughout the meet. Some weather at times may have changed things a little bit. Yesterday, it appeared that speed and the inside were both very, very good in the dirt. And I don't think it was situational when you have some long shots wiring, as we saw. And on the turf, with the rails down for the first time in both courses, it may have helped speed inside, horses that save ground, particularly the inner. It seemed to be an advantage to at least have been on the inside for a portion of the race. We'll see if that mitigates today. We'll see if the track is somewhat different today. You like the number 2 Dangerous Edge, second off the claim for John Toscano.
Well, again, we talked about this yesterday. Like is a very strong term. It was tough to really get on board with anybody.
Loose term. The Nassau's a mile, by the way.
It's a mile.
And has been since we were both wrong. This is normally the case.
What else is new? Yeah, like is a loose term, I would say. With Star of the West out, you would even think that Dangerous Edge's chances are worse than they were.
Except
because
he's got blinkers on and he used to have speed. So maybe the blinkers on are to get him back more speed. And now you've got Luis Saez.
That's the hope.
As opposed to a rider who's not that aggressive.
The blinkers and the addition of Luis Saez give you a little hope, especially now in a race. Especially now in a race where I thought Star of the West. You did. That's why I didn't
I bet you guys see this horse much more forward today. Yeah.
But listen, can you
not consider
they're
that?
supposed to be bunched here now, aren't they?
I don't know.
I mean, I think could you imagine?
I like your man. I can't believe it. I picked your man, Eddie Barker, and you didn't. I like Cause of Action. His race 3 back is good enough to win this race, and that was his first time on a dirt surface. Then he came to Aqueduct, and he did run poorly. There's no question about it. He did not run well in that race on February 20th. I'm going to take a shot that he needed his last race, the prep on the turf, and he can run back to his better effort because he ran so badly 2 back, it's hard to believe it. So given as well as he ran at Parks and the fact that he ran well in the turf last time, I'm going to hope he's back.
He's going to need to be. He's going to need to run back to that race.
Yes,
because I mean, he has 2 dirt races, and they could not be more different if they tried. They really couldn't be. And I don't trust the Park. See, that's the other problem too. I do not trust the Parks races.
Okay.
And that's where he ran the good race.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not going to
argue that. That could be a good point. I don't know if it's a great point.
No, it's not a great point. It's a good point.
Okay.
It's a decent point. By the way, it's also possible that he was down on the inside for some of the race and the rail wasn't the place to be that day. So that's also worth noting on February 20th. So take another look at that race. But I think he's an interesting player in this race because I'm not through with any of them.
Hard to like or knock any of them, really.
All right, race number 2. Race number 2. What'd you do in race number 2? I have an opinion in race number 2.
I went to Lost in Rome.
Because?
Well, him and the favorite, the number 3, Cobble Hill.
Got Rome, Cobble Hill, a lot of locations in this race.
A lot of locations in this race.
Sorry.
I think Kilmarnock might be as well.
Probably.
I asked Robbie about this horse when I called this horse in the winter, and it's Kilmarnock. I don't remember what he said to me.
What else would you call it?
Kilmarnock?
No. I guess you could, but...
I don't know. So they were separated by a couple of lengths, Lost in Rome and the favorite, and Cobble Hill, who is in all likelihood going to be a short price in here.
Boy, I'd love to book him at a short price.
That's what I mean. They were so.
He did absolutely no running last time. He was just picking up the pieces.
He just picked up pieces. Well, I felt like Lost in Rome did a little more running than him.
I think the only horse that didn't need running out of those 3 actually is Kilmarnock.
Okay, because he chased.
Because he chased,
all
and he actually probably was second best. But I feel very strongly he was second best because he chased Star of the West around there and took all the starch out of him. Today he's going to sit behind Carter's Got Sass, and unless Gary Golo's figured out a secret to him, because he's put in some quits that day.
Remember that thing 2 times
on January 18th. Well, it worked out all right for me with Jimmy Bond when he had 31.
It worked out great for you.
But yeah, you needed
I wanted to vomit.
5,
yeah,
I had him to win too. I liked him, but
it was brutal. I was going out with a bunch of friends. I was in a Nassau OTB watching the race, and the guy gave me the kiss of death.
It was super foggy. It was super foggy out, right?
This horse is home, buddy. I looked at him at the 8th hole. I said, "Buddy, what are you talking about?"
I watched this race on the subway out the
Gun
way out
down.
of Aqueduct. I left before it, actually. I remember that.
Scary.
And this horse has stopped badly in his 2 starts. We'll see. But he's going to go, and he's supposed to set pace. Listen, maybe he'll have more stamina off the layout for Gary. It's certainly not impossible. But he has stopped badly, and I thought Kilmarnock would be in a good spot here with Luis Saez, and I prefer him. He's the one I want out of the horses out of that race, and I really couldn't make a strong case for anybody else.
No, Carter's got sass. Gets the willies at the 8th pole.
We'll
Jay's
see.
Warrior.
I'm a little worried about
Jay's
Carter's got
Warrior
sass.
ran well at Churchill. Came back here. It's 3 races in a month now. And
He's
I don't
got
know.
to chase Carter's got sass.
Yeah, and he's got to chase Carter's got sass.
Yeah, and there's good races on a sloppy seal track as
Yeah.
well. Not sure where it came from. Race number 3.
Well, here it is, the main event of the afternoon.
You know, I thought about picking against this horse, and we'll take a look at Good Governance, finishing second in the Saranac in his 2nd career start to Global Access. And I thought he ran pretty well in this race, especially for his 2nd start, coming back in 27 days. I was going to try to beat him with Kid
Really?
Bourbon, or we'll get to, because there isn't much pace in the race. But when push comes to shove, I think he's a lot better than the horses in this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a stakes horse, this horse, if everything goes well. I mean, and
Well,
I don't.
he's a stakes horse already.
Yeah,
in
that's
second.
what I mean. I don't know if I feel that way about the rest of them, but like you said, I think the and you do make a great point. There's no pace in this race, and more often than not in these races, a guy like Luis Saez, who's aboard the number 3 Kid Bourbon.
We'll get to him in a second.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd video. Yeah, I also feel like Good Governance has been close enough in his races that he doesn't have to be 1,000 lengths behind. And we'll turn to Personal Time next, who may well be the 2nd choice in this race. And he's a full to Orb. He's obviously got some ability, and his last race was okay. He ran behind that Chadwell horse for Chad that finally won a race, Chad Brown, that sort of he blew up. Do you remember him? He blew up in a sprint in that big carryover this week last year, in that big Pick 5 carryover.
Yes.
It might have been the race where your horse, what's his name, Discretionary Mark, got lucky and won. He's okay, this horse, but he's pace compromised too, and I just think the Good Governance is probably better of the 2.
Yeah, it's funny because this horse, in one effort at Gulfstream going 7/8, he wasn't far from the pace, but it's certainly been a concerted effort to just get him off the pace in his turf races and in all of his recent races. And yeah, I mean, he's got to be compromised. I think you brought up a good point with Good Governance that he's not going to be. He'll be in front of Personal Time.
He's not that much faster, really, and it's a question of how they're ridden and how they want to ride them. The horse that's supposed to be in front here is this horse, Kid Bourbon, and we show him finishing 2nd his lone turf start to a very good horse named Golden Tappet. This is a Brendan Walsh horse.
Yeah.
I don't think he's run since this race. I'm sorry to see that. I hope he's comes back soon, because he's a very, very promising turf runner for Brendan. I know he's not reliable, and his last race was bad, but I don't think he ran badly in here. And Luis Saez is supposed to be in front with this horse.
It's his only turf race, and he's
got some talent. This horse.
He is supposed to have a major tactical advantage in here. Supposed to, right? Because I am starting to learn, Sensei. They just don't unfold like they look like they're going to. Now, I will say this. When it comes to a handful of riders here, and Louis is one of them, Kendrick Carmouche comes to mind, when there's a speed horse and they're supposed to be in front, they're in front.
Usually.
So I would like to think this horse is going to take advantage of just there being no pace in the race and trying to steal it on the front end. At the end of the day, I just think I just think Good Governance is a better horse.
I feel exactly the same as you do. We obviously picked the race the same way. We'll see how it works out. It's race number 3. Race number 4 at 6 furlongs. I have trouble. Is First Appeal really going to be odds on in this race? We'll take a look at. I think I have a race from 2 back from November. We had this discussion last time. She's not a winning type, but this is a significant drop down for her. But it's not like she hasn't run cheaply before.
She's run for this level before.
She's run lower than this level.
Right, because she ran against state breds at this level. And that was the day VIP Nation kept going on the front end. That was 3 starts back when she was 4 to 5.
But there really is not much competition in this field.
Are we keeping you awake? I'm sorry.
A little bit. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get back to sleep till
You're the
after
5th person today. You got off the train. You look like you were sleeping. I feel like I'm asleep.
No, I got back to sleep at 6 o'clock until 9.
Keith McCalmont had the yawnies up in the press office today. Everybody's, let's go, man. It's Friday. It's Friday. Let's go. Let's go.
You're the one who complained to me earlier that you said I slept too much.
Well, listen, man, the red light's on. We got to get going. We got to do it. Got to make it happen. Good stuff. Anyway, yeah. Coming back on short rest. The Source is coming back in a week. She doesn't. I mean, I found out the hard way last night. She just doesn't win.
I know.
I tried her last week. She doesn't win.
And really, the only viable alternative on paper is kind of Sanity for Kelly Breen, who doesn't have a lot of wins this bar in the turf, but this horse's turf races are just fine. And I think you have to hope that she'll be a little bit in front of First Appeal, but I don't know how much in front. She's not that fast either.
I didn't go back and look. I just took a look at the box and the form. This horse likes this distance. 3 for 5 at the distance. You know what I mean? Winning 60% of your starts at a particular distance in a race where a horse that's likely going to be the heavy favorite doesn't win, it has to give you a little bit of an edge.
Well, she's also coming out of a race at Gulfstream that was absolutely dominated in the front end. It was an essential merry-go-round race with better horses where the speeds ran 1, 2, 3 around the racetrack, and Hidden Facts would be 1 to 9 in this field. So she really had no chance. She actually broke well in there, and this rider just completely took her out of the race. Now, she doesn't have much speed, but she really had no chance the way the race was running there.
And now you get a rider board.
And, you know, I mean, I think the only horse you maybe make a case for is if you think Teletype needed the 7 furlong race last time and you want to make a case for this horse wiring the field. And I'm always worried about just completely dismissing horses for drawing away an AC Avia because they oddly seem to get bet sometimes and they usually run to the money they take. So I'm a little worried that this horse could somehow wire the field. The last race was bad, but maybe the horse just needed a race and 7 furlongs was too far.
Yeah, and she comes back in 15
like
days.
her,
You could be right.
You know, I think if you're going to use a third, more so than Annie Rocks, who I have third, who probably is the third likeliest winner, but maybe you make a case that Teletype just wires the field today.
The horse I put third, Athwak.
That's a commercial, right?
That's Aflac.
Sounds a little like it, right? Duck.
We pick 4 horses up here. Source is 2 for 3 with a second on the.
He's on his game today.
Source is 2 for 3 with a second on the all weather.
Okay.
She's by
a dam that was 0 for 1 on the turf and got a 65 buyer
she's
and produced one horse to try the turf
City
and
Zip.
did nothing.
Okay. Listen, I'm kind of tired of the Annie Rocks. Teletype. I'm using the 3 and the 4 and a pick 5. If I get goofy and my finger clicks down on my Naira Bets app, maybe I throw a 7 in on 1 ticket.
I'm not making any jokes about his fingers on the Naira Bets.
I got fat fingers, mozzarella stick fingers. I got fat everything, but I got fat mozzarella stick fingers.
Anthony's second break of the day came in race number 5 when Blinded Vision scratched. And I really think a lot of people wouldn't have noticed with Blinded Vision that win in the 4-horse field in the slop at Aqueduct. That was not February 2020. That was February 2019 in the 4-horse field. I didn't like him. I picked a horse in this race that I think you're insane to have third. I know he doesn't win very often, but I got to say Blue Belt on paper is about as close to a lock as you could possibly see. I think Blue Belt should be 4 to 5 in this race, and I honestly don't see how he loses this race.
We lunch betting this one?
Who do you want to take over him?
I'll take Javelin.
Okay, fine. 1 over 5 for lunch. 1 lunch. Anyway, Blue Belt is run against better horses. Blue Belt ran you have to understand, Blue Belt ran lengths better than Javelin last time. Blue Belt actually tried to win the race. Blue Belt actually had the lead top of the stretch. And Blue Belt actually ran in a race. And when I say try to win, it's not like I think the other people weren't trying to win. I'm saying the horse had a trip, which was trying to win the race, where Javelin was just absolutely picking up pieces as the race fell apart because behind Blue Business Cycle. I don't think it's close today, and I think Blue Belt is an absolute cinch in this race, and I'm going to single this horse to start the early pick 5.
Okay.
And I know, he's not a winning type. His last win was 2 years ago in Saratoga at 50 to 1. I know. It's
scratch really helps him.
Well, he was going to win anyway, but I agree with you. The scratch makes him an even stronger because now he's the controlling speed.
Supposed to be in front.
By and if Dylan doesn't send this horse, then Dylan needs to really just reconsider things because this horse is the speed in here.
But you know what the other problem with him is, right? He hasn't won in 2 years.
We already covered that.
Yeah.
So they said it was another problem. Do you have another problem?
I want to reiterate.
Has he been on the internet a lot? Is he playing video games?
He's a.
So that's not another problem.
Call of Duty all night. He's up till 5 in the morning playing Call of Duty.
That was not a great point. That was actually a really bad point. Okay, so you've picked the horse that sucked up last time out and is the morning line favorite and will be overbet because Irad's on him. Good call.
I will. You want to? You know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to try and give you this one back. What do you think the price difference between Blue Belt and Javelin is going to be now?
Blue Belt will be favored.
Blue Belt will be the favorite, right?
Yeah.
Blue Belt's going to be the favorite.
Blue Belt was always going to be favored over him. That was a bad morning line. And if he's not, it's going to be.
Oh,
pennies.
I think if the speed stayed in, it would have been the same.
No,
I think Javelin would have been favored.
It's pennies to the dollar, regardless. It's a bad morning line.
Now,
and the idea, by the way, that Blue Belt is virtually the same. Blue Belt is closer in price to Tail of Mist than Javelin is just ludicrous. It's ludicrous.
Yeah. Well,
Tail of Mist drops, but he hasn't been competitive.
Javelin sucked up, like you said last time, to get the place money.
When was his last win, by the way? Speaking of wins.
Right about 13 months ago.
Okay, it's not like he's a win machine
not.
either, and neither is Tail of Mist at 4 for 44.
Yeah.
So if you're going to find a race for a horse that doesn't like to win,
well,
he may have found himself in the right field.
I'll tell you one thing, and they've both run well. Blue Belt and Javelin have never won at Belmont Park, and it's the only place Tail of Mist wins. So,
Tail of Mist is not in good form.
No, he's not.
And Blue Belt ran well last time.
He did.
Tail of Mist's form has fallen apart, but there aren't that many options in this race. 43. Did I write 43 down? I don't want to have a problem here.
Get it down to Jackie Robinson today, baby. Unless we could find another one or two to.
I'm going to make a prediction. It's never going to dip below 40.
I'll bet you 2 lunches on that.
Oh, you'll just buy me 7 lunches. And
no.
I'll walk out of my apartment one day and there'll be like 20 lunches sitting in front of my door.
I'll bet you 2 lunches on
race
that.
number 6. I thought race number 6 was a very, very interesting race on today's card.
You left the favorite completely out of it, huh?
Oh, he's a terrible bet in this race. And I don't think he'll be 2-1. I'm guessing that the public is smart enough to understand overall that he is absolutely the wrong horse out of that race in every possible way. And we'll take a look. And he maybe he'll be, I don't know. I don't make morning lines. I'm not good at it. But we show the last race, Dan Fuzzi, and, Barley One was second, and Ain't It Funky Now was third, and Voliero was fourth. This was as big a merry-go-round race as you will ever see. I mean, there was no positions being changed at any point in this race.
Nobody moves, nobody gets hurt.
That's why I think Barley One was second in this race, to be honest. It was a vast improvement for him. I guess he's not impossible. I picked him 5th, if that makes you feel better. But I think this race is so full of interesting alternatives. I don't particularly like the race he's coming out of. The only horse that I would take out of that race is Voliero, who was compromised by breaking on the far outside on the inner turf, and today he's on the Widener, so he's not as compromised in general. He's the only one I would take because he actually tried to make up some ground, and the others just sort of ran in place in there, Anthony. So,
boy, the pill bottle has not been kind to Voliero, huh?
No.
9, 10, 10. And now, after the 2
Good
scratches,
day for Jimmy Bond
9
yesterday.
again.
Won the first. He was second in the third. I saw this race completely and totally differently than you.
Yeah, to me it looked like Barley One was going to sit right behind Just in Time for Wine and kind of set the same trip.
No, my horse Mendacious is much faster than Barley One. I don't know what you're looking at. I can't imagine that Luis Saez isn't going to be in front of Barley One. I wouldn't even rise of Voliero's in front of him. It's probably close, but no, I don't agree at all. I could be wrong. That was a very tepid pace last time.
I understand that, but he was still able to.
By the way, don't you think your second choice, No Salt, potentially has speed in this race?
Potentially. I'm just going to go by what I saw last time and what Just in Time for Wine has done. I thought they were going to line up 5-4. Maybe I'm wrong.
I had a very different race, a mile on the Widener as opposed to a mile and a 16th on the inner turf. You couldn't find 2 more diametrically different races on the same racetrack. Where you have a race in the Widener, the mile that normally sort of plays to closer strengths, whereas the mile and a 16th in the inner plays to speed strength. I just think it's a very different race. As far as No Salt, who I have 4th, he can win. I mean, it's a half to a horse that ran a 76 Beyer, and even though the dam was a dirt horse, 76 Beyer on the turf, I should say, only 1 for 1 with the dam. The second dam was 4 for 15 with 156,000 in earnings and a 90 Beyer on the turf. So it's a turf pedigree. This is a funny horse because Lee told me before the last race, when the horse debuted, that the horse couldn't run at all. Yet the horse took a ton of money, and there was a crowd around his box before the race, like they were going to celebrate, like I thought maybe the Queen was going to come by. In fact, maybe she would have had the horse won. And then the horse ran disastrously badly in there. Bank on Shea was good, won. But I wouldn't dismiss this horse.
No, I have him second.
Tonalist could turn into a turf sire. No reason he couldn't. right?
More-
A good sprinter, Tom, last
Yeah,
week?
the distance.
He could,
I
yeah.
think the distance.
No,
and
no,
the,
no.
and
This
the
is
was-
a very dangerous horse in
Yeah.
here, as is Mundacious. I think Mundacious is a seriously interesting horse in this race. This is a turf pedigree. He's after Cliffs of Dover. The dam was 4 for 18 on the grass. To me, it's all turf. This horse has actually shown enough ability on the dirt. I think you're going to see this horse forward in here, and I expect Mundacious to run well today. And it seems to me that Jeremiah's barn has started to pick things up. The horses are running
Agreed.
much better. I also think the 5 Just in Time for Wine is dangerous in here. You know, Amira Shikakli has done a very good job with these horses.
Won
She's
a
over
second
Mary
race
Condessa.
yesterday.
She's won 2 races. I think in general the horses have run very well. They've run at least to their form, if not better than their form. This is a horse that's run races fast enough. And isn't this horse supposed to be in front here with Mike Leslie?
No question about it.
Nice to see Mike get that win yesterday
Yeah,
for Amira as well.
But
I think she's
Luz
doing
can
a-
still get it done, especially on the front end. He kept that horse going. At the quarter pole, it looked like Brunate was going to go roll
She's
on
doing
by.
a fantastic job.
She is.
And, you know, I mean, listen, I don't know what goes on in the backstretch, but I know from experience at Aqueduct where you see people much more because it's a smaller area. I mean, we see her coming back from the paddock and downstairs at Aqueduct. I do all the time.
Hustling.
She's working
She's always
very,
hustling.
very
She's always
hard.
hustling and working
it's
hard.
paying off. She's doing a really, really good
She
job.
is.
I'm very impressed
Good
with
to
these
see.
horses. Yeah,
Always like to see
I
that.
agree.
Always like to see when people work hard.
And it's paying
and
off.
hustle,
I agree.
and it pays off.
And listen, let's be honest. I want to see more women, you know, get the success because the racetrack is full of women who are working hard. A lot of people who are working hard that don't get recognition, and you like to see people get recognition.
No question about it.
And she is, and deservedly so. Race number 7. I think Rinaldi's the horse to beat in here. Speaking of the Jimmy Bond barn. I mean, his last race, he was just behind Good Governance. He's probably going to be stalking your horse, so I don't like it all. Worth a shot. I don't have a knock on this horse. Do you?
No. I like this race.
So do I.
This is the race I like
I
today.
completely disagree with you about this race, but I like it too.
Yeah, I want Worth a Shot, and I want Rinaldi. And Rinaldi, here he is taking that Stallion Series race before finishing behind.
You were
Good
on
Governance.
him. You liked him. You
I
had
liked
like
him the
second or
day-
third the day he wanted Saratoga 10-1. I remember you said you liked him, and I was very dubious. And
I
you
wasn't
were right.
here. I was in Atlantic City. We were texting that day.
I feel like you made us like had a pick 4 or pick 5. with
I
him or
made a
something.
nice win, but I hit the exact on
Yeah,
the double.
I
made a
remember
little
that.
score
That was a
with him.
great pick by you. Were ahead of the
I
curve
left.
again.
I left the Clement and Raylu firster out. The first leg of the pick 5.
Right.
I would have hit
was
everything.
Spitting mad.
Yeah.
Now, as far as Worth a Shot, your top pick, I'm not convinced he's really a router here. I know he's an English channel. I get that. We'll see. He does have, and we'll take a look at his win at Aqueduct back in November, he does have the advantage of being the speed. And the way the inner paid yesterday is the inside speed. It may move him up. So maybe I should have had him third, depending on how the course is playing. Sometimes those courses even out pretty quickly once they run a few races over them. I just don't like this horse. I thought he'd run a race against a very weak field last time.
I love the 7 furlong race. 2 back. Yeah, you know, kept to his business here in the last furlong by Jose Lozcano.
What about the rider's trainer switch from Linda?
Yeah.
I don't love that.
I
No disrespect or ratio to pause. I don't love trainer switched away from Linda.
I don't
Rice.
either, but I think he does a good enough job. I do. Listen, I like what I saw at the source last fall.
Okay.
I think the source is going to be okay.
Okay. I like the JY. I thought the JY would get a very good trip in here. He's not going to leave the hedge. He doesn't need to lead to win. He's won rating before. I thought he made a tremendous amount of sense. He won at Belmont off the layoff last year. He did it on the Widener. Now he's on the inner. Beat Change With You Good, who's arguably better than these horses. And I think he just makes a ton of sense in here. His price is going to be fair for Mark Hennig, and I thought he was a very dangerous player in here. I think Rinaldi's the horse to beat, but I think the JY is going to get the right trip in
He's
here.
supposed to
It's a
lay
good
up.
shot.
He's supposed to lay in behind Worth a Shot and
Right.
Rinaldi here, right?
Yep. And that's what I'm guessing and assuming Manny will do, and I really think he has a chance. It's not going to be easy, in my opinion, to beat Rinaldi. You like Worth a Shot a lot more than I do. I think an interesting horse to talk about in here is Dupe's Point, because the initial, and I don't know what price he'll be, because he will be short if people bet him off his dirt races, and they might. But if you look at his turf races, he's obviously not competitive at all. On the other hand, there's a real argument that he has improved significantly
He's just a better horse.
since those turf races, and given his pedigree, he's a half to 2 turf winners as a point of entry. He's supposed to be a turf horse. I'm thinking that's what Christophe is thinking. Maybe I need to try this horse again on the turf. I mean, because I think you want to find out if there are horses that are ready to step up, because, boy, the New York bred stakes turf,
They're all old friends.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, there's there's 8 nominated to the Kingston. Is that the race next week? It's the Kingston, and 3 of them are dirt horses. So
we're so used to
I
seeing.
think you need to find out if you can belong in those groups.
So used
right?
to seeing 9, 10, or 12 in there with.
We've been spoiled with
20
with big fields.
nominees. Yeah.
So we'll see if these horses could take a step up. And I think because Christoph's also probably looking, he's going, well, I don't know if Duke's Points can beat horses like Funny Guy,
you know
so
what the
I got to
funny
do
thing,
something with him.
Speaking of funny, you know what the funny thing is? You know why we don't see him as much anymore? Because they're starting to beat the Open Company.
Yeah.
And they're starting to just take advantage of
cool.
running against the Open. Well, I mean, as a whole, the program is just.
Not really, though. I mean,
You don't think the program over the last 15 years has exploded?
well, Wynn was the best, maybe one of the best grass New York breds of all time, right? Is he the best
I'm talking
grass
about
New York bred of all time, Wynn?
I think it'd be hard to, on the grass, I don't think you can find anybody more accomplished, no?
Are we forgetting or are we forgetting?
I mean, the King Creaser, Lubash, Carafa
They
guard.
weren't as good as Wynn.
I don't think they were as good as Wynn
No, they
either.
weren't.
Because
They
Wynn
weren't
was a
as
little
good as Wynn.
more, he had a little more versatility,
Oh,
too.
you go a mile and a half. No.
That's what I think
He
gives
was an
Wynn the
incredible
nod.
racehorse.
He was
Wynn.
unbelievable.
Incredible racehorse. He really was.
Yeah.
Taking on John Henry and he couldn't run the Breeders' Cup, but he ran that fast race. Was it the last race of the day on Breeders' Cup Day or the next day?
I don't remember.
Richie remembers. I think Richie rode him. Richie rode him a lot. I know that. Yeah, he was an amazing horse. Truly amazing horse.
I mean, 4-star Dave.
Oh yeah, that's who we're forgetting. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I knew. We're always going to forget horses. 4-star Dave was incredible.
I mean, you know what? 4-star Dave kind of overshadows little brother too. I mean, 4-star's All-Star won the 2000
I think
Guineas.
when they were both at their top, the
4-star's All-Star was
the
probably
better
better.
horse.
I remember Leo O'Brien almost knocked my father over. You could have knocked my father over with a sneeze. My father had Julio Pazua's book for the 17th time, and 4-star's All-Star was in his 4-year-old year and went to the old New Hampshire sweepstakes at Rockingham. And Leo comes into the racing.
He won it.
Leo, no, he didn't win it.
He got beat a neck.
Yeah. Leo comes into the racing office and he says to my father,
Salem Drive didn't beat him, did he?
I don't remember. He says, you want to go to Rockingham to ride the sweeps? So my father said, sure. He didn't have any business here. He goes, who are you riding? And he named like he named one of the old the Irish Lynette family, like the cult before Irish Lynette. He's like, no, I'm going to send you to ride the All-Star. My father snapped at me.
Did he blow the ride?
My father looked at me and said,
did he blow the ride?
maybe. He looked at me because, you're sending Julio Pazua to ride a 2,000 Guineas winner?
Yeah, he won the 2,000 Guineas, that horse.
Mike Smith rode him over there.
Tom Durkin once told me, I think he called that race, Tom, for ESPN.
I think he did.
And he once told me that, and Tom can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like he told me that the Curragh was the difficult place he ever went to call a race because I think they dipped down after the start for that race, and they actually go out of view. I'm almost sure that Tom told me that many years ago because I think that race was one of that Budweiser Racing Series or something,
I do believe
right?
in my head I could hear Tom saying they turned for home at the Curragh.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I'm almost sure
and
that
the All-Stars
he did,
in front, maybe.
About that one
Mike
day.
Smith rode him that day.
Anyhow, I wonder if Salem Drive beat him. I don't know why Salem Drive jumped in my head. I'm probably totally wrong. Race number 8. Salem Drive was a Virginia Craft Pace.
Virginia Craft Pace?
Jimmy Schmidt or Lundy? No.
Wow. It was a while. I mean, we're talking 25, 26 years ago, so.
4-Star's All-Star was.
Could have been Lundy.
4-Star's All-Star was a tremendous horse.
Yes,
I
he was.
a big fan. The Hessenite. I just love that there's
Love
a
her
race
too.
name for Hessenite. I loved Hessenite. I remember coming back from Omaha. I had gone to Horseman's Park. And
They're
I
looking
went
to have us back, by
on the Saturday. I just got a text. I thought it might be Tom. Skiffington trained Salem Drive.
Okay.
Migliori. I mean, I've got like a phone full of human racing encyclopedia. What was I going to say? Hessenite was running on the turf on closing day at Aqueduct, and I had been on Saturday. I'd been at Omaha at Horseman's Park, and I made back for closing day. How can you miss closing day at Aqueduct?
It's going to be gone for 5 months.
Biggest days ever. And she was on the turf, and it was pouring. But they left the race on, and I remember she couldn't lose. Ramon rode her, and she couldn't lose. And she ended up loving, I think maybe in her first soft turf race, or maybe she had one as a younger horse. She paid $740, and I remember she just got up to win. I loved Hessenite. She was a
nice filly.
She was a good horse.
Yes, she was.
Yeah,
nice filly,
really
nice
good
man.
horse. She didn't run second to Lady Eli. Did she run second to some very good Chad Brown horse, I think, at a stake?
I want to say she was a year or two before Lady Eli.
Yeah, she must have been. Yeah, that was a while ago. She was a good horse.
If it was 10 years ago, it was before Lady
David
Eli.
Dunk is
for sure.
represented in this race.
Yes, he is.
And in fact, Let's show the horse that David Donk, who trained Hess tonight, is represented with Saratoga Treasure. I'm going to tell you that more.
He's got two in here. He's got JC Shooting Star as well.
He does. That's right. I like JC Shooting Star, just not today. This race is having the look of one of those odd, aberrational, late fall, almost winter turf races at Aqueduct. I will tell you, if she runs this race, she might lap the field today.
This was
like a graded stakes quality turf sprint, but it's so dichotomous to her other races, and she didn't really know the battling the Intercontinental, a race she probably needed at 7. It's just this race is so dichotomous to her other races, and there was a horse in there Christophe had that had a wild trip, Roseflower, who finished 3rd. But she ran so well in there, it was almost hard to believe. I just don't trust it, and she probably is going to be favored here. I don't trust her. But let me ask you a question.
No, I don't trust her either.
Isn't Mentality supposed to be favored in here in a funny way? Because isn't she the controlling
she's supposed
speed?
to be in front of these horses.
And she's the controlling speed. And I just thought she was the. I kind of think she's the horse to beat, right?
Because
of the way
Irad's
sending Kid Frosty, but Dylan's got to be in front of her.
Because of the way the race is supposed to set up, the race runs through her.
I agree.
The race just runs through her.
I don't love her either, and you and I are, she's
I'm going to
Mentality.
use her. She's an A for certain, but I don't know. She doesn't have that bad of a record, but she's hard to trust.
I don't disagree. I feel exactly the same way, but you have to use her. Now, Kid is Frosty, who you have second, and I have nowhere. Third, excuse me. I don't like her. We'll take a look at her winning, I believe, the New York Stallion Series up in Saratoga. I think she was just sort of getting the run of the races against inferior horses to these, especially at those distances, or horses that were compromised. I know Nico's Dream had a nice win down at Gulfstream recently. I don't know if she's really good enough.
I think you have to worry.
Is Brad Cox, though. But
that's number one.
Yeah,
I think you also have to worry about the fact that I know she got some easy paces and some nice trips, but she has enough positional speed where she's not going to be too far away. I don't think Mentality's going to open. I mean, let's be honest here. Mentality's not going to open 3.
No.
So if it's a snatch and grab on the front end and they're going to let horses into the race, Irad's going to take advantage of that with her positional speed. I think
the move with Mentality is to seize the bull by the horns and open up 3.
I would tell him, listen,
go
44 and change if you had just open 3 on the field and let them chase.
Is 44 and change fast in this turf course? They went 43 and change.
She could go 44 and change here and be 3 in front.
With fractions. They'll see 21-4 in a 6-furlong turf race on this very firm turf course, and they'll say, "Oh, they're flying," and I want to say, "No, they're actually walking."
Right. That's my point.
They go 44 and 2, and I'm like, "Nah, that's like."
My point is
45 and 4.
My point is, if she goes 44 and change today, she'll be 3 in front, and it's not even that fast. But the last thing you want to do is go 45 and change in here and let everybody into the race.
I don't think you could go 45 and 2 if you put the brakes on, because 45 and 2 is like 47.
Maybe.
So, but I agree with your
mentality.
Concept.
You agree with my mentality.
But I think it's a very and I think people are getting a little fooled by 43 and change in that turf sprint, and that was a quick pace, but it wasn't. You can't compare the turf fractions. And then you see the final times are 106 and change or 107. Think of the dirt races that are fast. They go 109. So if they're going 107, they're going 109. 43 and change 4 might be 45 on the dirt, So, you have to sort of look at it in relative terms. You like Hannah Smile. She obviously can win this race. But she obviously needed her last race.
Yeah.
That was a tough field last time.
Listen,
7's a little far for her best, too.
I agreed. It was a nice little tightener going 7. She cuts back to 6. This is what she likes to do.
To prep
and
for
she's
this race.
another one, like you said earlier about a horse, about the JY. She's supposed to sit that same kind of trip. Never leave the hedge. Just sit behind the speed and have one of the first cracks at her. Hit it. Come on.
This is the Widener, but I'm not against her at all. I will say one thing about her. I think she want to be out in the clear with her because she's a wide-running kind. She and Saratoga Treasure both have similar styles with their best. I mean, the reality is the best trip you get with turf sprinters like that, and something that Joelle has perfected, is saving ground as much as possible and angling out. It's not always as easy as it sounds. It's rarely. Listen, you knew I was picking Courageous Dynamite.
I mean, of course.
I'm not letting Ned Allard win at a big price and not have her. Now,
and she doesn't owe you any money, so you're allowed to pick her.
Well, let me say a couple things about her. Her win 2-back is dressed up because it was dressed up. That was a total and complete meltdown. So she's not as good necessarily as the 85 buyer, but I actually think she's a turf sprinter.
You said that when she
Because
won.
if you look up her past records, her first 2 races in the turf were both turf sprints, and she ran back-to-back 77 buyers, I think with a win in a second.
Win in a second.
And they were both very good efforts. In fact, she ran down a Wesley Ward heavy favorite first time she won, and I know that was Mentality, though it feels like Mentality's been around a long, long time.
Can you imagine Mentality's only run 14 times?
In her third career start, she had the lead against Rushing Fall and the Jessamine as a 2-year-old. Courageous Dinah is doing what she wants to do, and my feeling is I'm not convinced she's necessarily we're taking a look at her last race, just because I like to relive old glory. We usually watch replays of races that Anthony and I took brutal beats in, and this was great. Of course, she ran down Lovely Lala, and Anthony and I, a horseshoe, could probably run her down in the right situation. But the point is, I'm not convinced that as a turf sprinter, she's really much worse than either Hannah Smile and Saratoga Treasure, and I think her price is going to be significantly higher. And for that reason, I mean, because I'm not just going to pick a horse because I think that Hour does a great job. I mean, I didn't pick his horse yesterday, who actually ran pretty well yesterday.
Did run well.
But I'm going to take this horse.
She can win.
Listen, the 1 can win, the 3 can win, the 5 can win, the 7 can win. We don't like his Frosty, but you like it more than I do.
Yeah.
She can win. JC Shooting Star, who I have mad love for, she'd have to improve because her last turf race that she won, she can't win with that effort. She got an absolutely perfect trip, and she was life and death.
By the way, my father just texted me, told me we could bet Katz's Deli that Dick Lundy trained Salem Drive.
Richie just said it was Skiffington. Okay.
I got 3 texts.
Really? Okay.
We'll have to go to the Google machine after the show.
Okay. Race number 9. We don't have much time left. I got your horse third. I don't like that horse. Go ahead. You gave up. You should have picked your second and third horses first and second.
I don't know. You know I was going to get sucked into the rider change to a Rad.
Yeah, but so is every jerk.
I know.
So you don't want to pick it on top, and you've got the right horses. I mean, obviously using the horse in the pick 4. 88 was Lundy, 89 was Skiffington. So both Richie and your dad were right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we've settled that.
No, that's over.
Hazy, the 3.
Hazy.
3 wide against a gold rail last time. Could be an improving horse in the right field to be an improving horse. And Mapolka, turf to dirt, met better horses first time out. To me, they're the 2. 3 and 9 for me.
I feel pretty comfortable. I'm going to close to those 4 horses we have on the screen. Okay. I feel comfortable closing to those. I don't want.
You look comfortable.
Maiden quarter. I don't want to be closing to 2 horses.
You relax now. You've sort of settled in.
You know what's funny? I knew right around 1 o'clock I would start to come back, just ready to. It's Friday, man.
It's a pleasure to spend this quality time with you.
The pleasure's all. The pleasure's all yours.
Anyhow, big card tomorrow, 11 race card tomorrow.
Yes.
We'll be on 10, 12 o'clock. What time we come on? 12 o'clock for talking horses?
12 o'clock. Post time staying the same.
4 stakes.
6 is 7 through 10, so the pick 5 starts in the 7th.
Yes, and 2 of them are part of the cross-country pick 5. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, head on over to nairabets.com. Use promo code MATCH200. We will match up to a $200 deposit.
And if you started yesterday, don't forget the stakes builder for 4th of July. You bet $40. You bet $25 to win on a horse in the stakes today in the Hessenite on the app. And if you do it every day for the designated race for 4th of July, it'll be $40 in your account. So you can head to nairabets.com and check that schedule for the assigned stakes today. Obviously, the only stake is the Hessenite. So $25 to win at least on the app. If you do it every racing day through 4th of July next Saturday, Run Happy Met Mile Day, you will get $40 in your account for the Run Happy Met Mile card.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're done.
Thank you, Mr. Accavano.
Everybody's seen that movie.
See you later. Tomorrow.
I saw that movie with a good freight friend of mine who's no longer with us, actually. Anyhow, have a great day at the beautiful Belmont Park. John Embrial, the voice of the New York Racing Association, up next with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to beautiful Belmont Park. Mostly sunny skies on this Friday. The temperature in the 80s. Main track is fast, turf course is firm, no portable rails in use, and we have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of a little more than $21,000. In today's first race, scratch number 4, Star of the West. Scratch number 4. Note that number 1, Big Boy Mo, is a Ridgeling. In the second race, 2 pounds over for numbers 1, 2, and 6, and number 7, Tapasso, is 4 pounds over. Third race, scratch 1A, High Amplitude, and scratch the 4, Family Biz. Scratch 1A and 4 out of the third. In the fourth race, scratch 1, Radiant Rhythm, 6, Miss Jack, 9, Keep Your Distance, 10, Overtime Olivia, and 12, Mo Flash. In the fourth, which starts the Empire 6, scratch numbers 1, 6, 9, 10, and 12. In race 5, scratch the 3, Blinded Vision. Scratch number 3. Number 6, Too Hot to Even Speak, will run with 2 bar shoes on. 2 bar shoes on, number 6, Too Hot to Even Speak. Sixth race, scratch 2, Stash My Money, and the 3, Royal Suspect. Scratch numbers 2 and 3, and all horses will carry 2 pounds over, with the exception of number 8. In the seventh race, scratch 2, Forever Wicked, and 7, Twisted Tom. Seventh race, scratch numbers 2 and 7. The eighth race, the Hessenite Stakes, scratch number 2, Sadie Lady. Scratch the 2, Sadie Lady. And numbers 1, 3, 5, and 6 will be 2 pounds over. In today's ninth race, a rider change on the 6, Lovely Escort to Talbert Howell. Talbert Howell rides the 6, and the following horses will be 2 pounds over. Numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Scratch the 15, Venita. Scratch number 15. Fast and firm, Empire 6, jackpot carryover of $21,055. Belmont's opener, coming up in 26 minutes at 1:15.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com. New members, sign up now for a $200 deposit match with promo code MATCH200.